When Jesus was getting crucified, he was offered wine 2 different times, but only drank one of them. The first time he was offered wine, it says the soldiers gave Jesus wine mixed with bitter gall, but when he had tasted it, he refused to drink it. This is because this wine would have been like a small painkiller, which would have minimized some of the suffering that he would have endured while he was being crucified. But Jesus wanted to do his Father's will so that he could suffer and be a sacrifice for our sins, which is why earlier he says to Simon Peter, after he drew a sword and slashed off the right ear of Malchus, the high priest's slave, "Put your sword back into its sheath. Shall I not drink from the cup of suffering the Father has given me?" But so then the second time that Jesus is offered wine, this is a sour wine, and he's offered it after he says, "I thirst." And this wine isn't to numb his pain, it's to make him more conscious and aware of what's going on so that he can complete his Father's will. And then after he, tastes this wine, then he says, "It is finished." And so today's the first day of Lent, and if you pray the rosary, then now every Sunday we do the sorrowful mysteries, and the first one is the agony in the garden. And then this is when Jesus, he didn't want to have to be crucified. That's why he said, "My Father, if it is possible, let this cup of suffering be taken away from me." However, Jesus wants to do his Father's will instead of his own will, which is why he then says, "Yet I want your will to be done, not mine." And then which is why he refused the first wine that he was offered, right? And so I just have to remember this when I don't want to do what God's will is for me and I want to just do my own will. I have to think about what Jesus did for us and how he did his Father's will instead of his own will.